Hi, everybody. David Trust at PPA here, along with PPA President Jeff Duchowski. Hi, Jeff. How are you doing?
Good, David. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for asking. And PPA's new Director of Credentialing, Rich Newell. Rich has been around for a long time, but he's now assumed the position of Director of Credentialing, which puts merits and degrees and certification under him. Rich, congratulations on that. How are you doing today?
Oh, doing great today. Thanks, David.
Hey, listen, we have some pretty exciting stuff to talk about today. Before we get to that, I do want to point out that this is not a live broadcast. We recorded this a couple of days ago. We did that simply because we knew that there would be questions and those kinds of things. We wanted to be able to hang out in the chat and try to answer questions as that goes along. And so we'll be in the chat trying to answer your questions along with some others. But in the meantime, we wanted to make sure that you knew that this was not live. Pretty sure you would have figured that out anyway. But listen, for a long, long time, since 1936, actually, the International Photographic Competition, which is really the PPA merit and the Master of Photographer degree back then, it was just the one degree, was introduced by Professional Photographers of America. That was 1936 in the wake of the Great Depression, just before World War II, and a lot of people were acquiring cameras cheap, no photographic skills. And so it was the master's degree was created and the merit was introduced as a way to try to raise the level of professional photography in America. And the process for entering that back then was that you submitted images, 4 images in a case, shipped it to PPA headquarters. When the time came for the annual judging, those images were judged. They eventually got back to you and let you know whether or not you got a merit or some merits or not. And then you went from there. You waited for a year, you prepared some more images, submitted those images, and that process just continued on and on. The thing is, that process maybe didn't fit as well with people's lives today as it did back then. It doesn't fit as well today as it did back then, simply because people are busier than ever, and it's not the way we sort of do things anymore. And so we have some important changes to all of this. And Rich, I just wanted to let you talk a little bit about some of the really exciting things about what we're now calling the Merit Image Review. Rich.
Yeah, this is exciting. We took a step back and we looked at, what works with image competition and what the hurdles were, what things that our members were telling us that, were some of the hold up on why they weren't entering. So one of the biggest issues that we heard was, that they had to get 4 images together and they could only enter at IPC in the summer, probably when they're the busiest. So what we have done, and this is, we're listening to our members here. We are going to make this available to our members on a monthly basis, where you get an image ready and submit that image. It's no longer submitting 4 images at a time, although you can enter 4 images each month. But you go out, you shoot a session, you get a great image, work it up, and submit it, and it goes into the next month's review process. You'll be submitting these images online. It's as convenient as we can make it. It is still, a panel of 5 jurors evaluating images, but with the exception of December and January, this evaluation process is going to happen year round. So that's the big change that we're announcing today for you guys.
And Rich, the judging itself, it was always a panel of 5, right? And you guys judged based on the 12 elements. That's PPA's 12 elements, right, of a photograph. Is any of that changing?
Yeah. None of that is changing. PPA has one of the best judgings in the world, and not tooting our own horn here, but we've seen some of the other competitions and things that are around that we do more training, we do more to get our jurors up to speed than anybody I've seen. So that part is working. Submit your image. It's still based on the 12 elements. It's still the panels and still the challenging situations and things along those lines. The biggest change is you're going to enter on your own pace. If you're busy one month, skip a month. If you've got a slow month, submit 4, submit 3, submit whatever you're able to do.
So 4 is the maximum I can submit. Is that right?
That is correct. So
You don't,
4 each month, with a maximum for 8 merits per year, which is the same as it has always been.
yeah, I was going to say you don't have to worry about seeing images for me. I promise that will never happen. But let's say I did submit an image and it didn't merit, which would be fully expected. So if I did submit an image and it didn't merit, then what do I do?
So hopefully you order a critique. The critiques are done by the approved jurors. They give you feedback. They're 3 to 5 minutes. They talk about what you've done well, what you could improve on, or even if you need to reshoot it. So listen to the feedback, rework that image or reshoot that image, and then submit it the next month or the month after that. But again, you don't have to wait that whole year to make changes and submit the image again.
You know, guys, I know that this is commonplace for you. It's part of your life. It's actually been part of my life for more than 20 years now, simply because of PPA. But the stories I have heard about preparing a case and spending weeks, days, not sleeping for days, the blood, sweat, and tears that went into the preparation of a case, not one image, but a case. I mean, those stories are pretty legendary in PPA lore, aren't they?
Yeah, in fact, one of the things that we determined when the board looked into this was that people would go and get 3 images ready for the IPC, and because they didn't get a 4th one in, they wouldn't submit even any of those 3. So they would literally stay up for a week working on images, which was awesome because they were investing in improving their craft. But they would have a 4th image that they just couldn't put something forward they didn't feel was good. So they would actually hold the whole case back a year and prevent them from getting any results at all. And so all of these sort of things were kind of factored in. And I mean, the whole break a leg, we have one in photographic competition called I hate your case. And it's a true story. Like, you get to the point you've worked on it for 7 straight months on 4 images, and you get to the point where you hate them all. And so this is one of the byproducts of that system. And we're really hoping to change this. So when you shoot an image that you love, you can submit it, shoot an image in March, submit it in March, get a result in April. It's going to be pretty awesome.
Jeff, to say that this is at the center of PPA culture since 1936, right? And so to say that this was at the center of PPA culture would sort of be an understatement, wouldn't it? I mean, this was a difficult decision for the board.
It really was, because the board, I think 6 or 7 of the board members are jurors, and they are deeply involved and deeply appreciate all the effort that goes into IPC in its current form and the benefits in their own businesses from entering. So the board didn't enter into this lightly. And ultimately, for us, the bottom line was the process. We had to look at something that was different, that we could make sure that a larger percentage of our membership took advantage of this incredible resource. For years it worked in the past, but the world changed. I mean, our critiques used to come on a VHS tape, right? Now they show up a couple days after IPC or districts right in our PPA, our My PPA section of our website. So we recognized things were changing, and the board decided we had to create a way that worked for them, not that worked for us. We were already doing it. We needed to find a way to be in the realm of the other members who weren't using this amazing thing.
And I love that you mentioned the process, because that's really what this is about. This is about the process. This doesn't change in any way the actual judging, the evaluation of the merit itself. All of those criteria remain in place. This is about access, I guess, to the process and allowing members to be able to access it.
Yeah, that's right. It is basically simplifying it and making a product that's reflects our members' needs. Again, not everybody has the time to work on 4 images, and so or wait an entire year to submit a group of images. So now I mean, again, like I said, you have a great senior session or a great children's session. Pick your favorite image, work it up, submit it, get the feedback, and if it didn't merit, submit it the next month. And so it gives you more access and an ability to focus on your achievement of that degree, which is ultimately the goal.
Yeah, and I know also that if I'm super busy, again, don't worry about seeing images from me, but I know that if I'm super busy in July, I'm going to be really busy in June and July, that I'm going to try to get an image together in February and April, right? I'm going to get a couple images together, ones that I really like, and get those sent in, or maybe February, March, April, and May, trying to get those images in. And I might send 2 in, or I might just send 1 in. But the point is that now it's up to me and my life, right? It's about my schedule. It's about the things that, that I have to do as a family. It's about the PTA. It's about driving the carpool. It's about our elderly parents that we have to tend to. It's about those kinds of things. It recognizes the realities of people's lives rather than just the traditions of the association. So what you're changing are the traditions of the association, but not the judging at all. Is that correct?
Exactly right. Like, ultimately speaking, for years we kind of joke about, we hate the phrase, well, that's how we've always done it. And you mentioned traditions of the association, and it has been traditional. I mean, we used to mail in these prints, and we would get a postcard in the mail 5 or 6 weeks after, letting us know how we did, and we'd call customer service and say, what does this mean? What does a GB mean? What does a M, what does a J mean, or an L? And now it's changed. Our members are much more tech savvy with the whole system, and so we're going to be creating this system that's going to allow them to get the not instant feedback, but pretty near instant feedback. And Rich, you just said to me, I love, like, hey, and it's changing my mind. Even if I'm in the middle of my deep, busy senior season and I shoot something awesome, I don't have to file it away till later to work it up and enter it. I can work it up and enter it in my busy month because I don't have to work up 4. So the system itself is all going to stay the same, the 12 elements of a merit image, but the access to it is definitely opened up.
Exactly.
So from the beginning of man until now, the name of it was International Photographic Competition. Maybe not the beginning of man, but it was International Photographic Competition. Now it's Merit Image Review. Jeff, why do you have to change the name? I mean, what was wrong with the name?
So we one of the things we looked at, and we've been actually looking at for the last 2 or 3 years, was the word competition itself doesn't exactly, actually really poorly explains what we do. You know those memes that say poorly explain what you do? Well, IPC poorly explains what we're actually doing there. We're evaluating images to be able to award master's degrees and other accolades of personal achievement for our members. We are not really competing. And that image isn't held up against other images to see if it merits. It's held up against the 12 elements of a merit image. And so having the word competition in the event is a misnomer in every regard. You don't have to compete to earn a merit against someone else. You are only working with your own images and your own level of interest in improving your craft. That's one of the things I'm really excited about. It'll be confusing because we used to have the international cave art competition, and as we started PPA, and now we're at the International Photographic Competition. It's been that long, David. You've been here with us since then, so I know competition is a big part of our culture.
I remember those days. Yeah, those were quite. It was hard to ship those in. It was difficult. Thank you, Jeff, for that. I do want to touch about the competition, the competitive element of all of this. That not everybody likes competition. Some people really, really, really love it. But there are a lot of studies out there, easy to find. One Harvard study in particular that we've talked about quite a bit, that basically points out that a little more than half of Americans, half of the people around us, don't like the idea of competition. They shy away from the idea of competition, and they see it as not being in line with their personal goals or their personal values or their personal whatever. But they're not going to participate. So it means that we have 34,000 members. We're taking 17,000 of those and shaving them off and pushing them to the side on the front end because they're not going to participate in competition. I don't get it. The idea of competing for a merit with other people. In fact, they're not doing that, but it was just confusing, right? And so merit image review is just much more accurately descriptive of what it actually is, right? I mean, that's what it actually is. And competition, we're not shying away from, right, guys? We've got a bigger, better, giant competition coming for those who love to compete.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, really what the merit image review is about, it's about earning your degree towards either your master of photography degree, your master wedding degree, or your master artist degree. And it is your personal achievement. It is not a competition. It is not your image against everybody else. It is your image and how it stacks up against the 12 elements. And it's a personal growth. It's how you push yourself to be a better photographer. And that's what the program's essence really started as. And we got away from that a little bit, but now we're really focusing back on that. There is still going to be a competition for the people like me that love to compete. And I understand, and we do get it that a lot of people don't, and especially with their own work, because it is a personal. As an artist, you're personally attached to these, and to put it out in front of everybody and be competing isn't for everybody, because you do have to put yourself out there. The merit review should not be, you shouldn't be having to worry about other people's perception of you. It is your own goals, it's your own achievement, and that's what the merit image review is focused on. The competition, again, we're excited about it, but it is something totally different.
Hey, Rach, you just said something that made me think about this. What happens to imaging excellence? That standard, it used to be the loan collection. What happens to
Yeah,
that in
so
all of this?
we are still going to be reviewing images, and there is still that category. And what it is, I mean, explain what it is first. Imaging excellence, it's the cream of the crop. It's the top. It's the exceptional images that are created, and it's just, again, it's recognizing. It's like when you're doing a session. Hey, it's that one image that you shoot. It's like, oh man, that is way better than everything else we're doing. There is still that category where it is called the imaging excellence. It is. We'll be judging for merit, which again, you get your merit towards your degree, whichever competition or review or degree that you're working on. But we will still recognize those imaging excellence. You will still earn your medallion that goes on your degree string for 13 of imaging excellence images. Or if you continue, you can earn your bar, which is at 26. So that is still part of the process.
So in essence, the evaluation, the judging stays the same. The change in all of this is in the process. The name has changed to make it more descriptive of what it actually is. But I love this idea that it's all about just one. You know what? Don't worry about the case. Don't worry about all of this other stuff. It's all extracurricular. It is ground clutter. Don't worry about all of those things. Prepare one image. Get one image ready. Anybody can work on one image, right? I mean, work on one image. When you have a moment, when you have some time, when you have that break in your life, later this month or maybe the beginning of next month, work on an image. Get it ready and submit one image. It's really about just one, isn't it? It's just get one image ready and get it critiqued if you need to, if it doesn't merit, and then resubmit it. And then go after one more. Just submit one more when you have the time. It's in some ways, an elegant solution to all of this.
Yeah, I agree. Sorry, Rich.
Go ahead, Jeff.
I agree. I mean, for years, IPC had the word competition, and we were focused, on lots of things. We were focused on merits and trophies and pins and competition. And now PPA has shifted its focus on personal achievement. Obviously we've got 3 master's degrees: Master of Photography, Master of Wedding Photography, and Master Artist. If you haven't earned one of those yet, this is a great time to jump into that pool and put your little print evaluation pinky in, see how it feels, and then keep going. Also, those folks who have imaging excellence entries, once you get 13, you get your imaging excellence award, which you wear as a medallion with your degree. As Rich mentioned, we have our bars. We have an MIR 50 bar, which awards and goes to those members who have received 50 exhibition merits total in their career in entering images. You have the plus 25 bars that include service, speaking, and exhibition merits. So there's lots of reasons to enter this, even if you have your degrees. But the truth is, and the focus needs to be the merit, its health, and its evaluation, right? It's never, as we mentioned, it's never really been a competition. And, sorry, David, I'm probably going long, but someone's going to ask, well, what does this change? How does this change for the degrees? Well, it doesn't. So currently we need 25 merits to receive a degree of what you're working on within our system, 13 of which need to be exhibition merits in the specific degree. And then the other 12 can be either more exhibition merits from another degree or speaking or service merits. And that's not going to change at all. One of the things I love about this is that in my past is I would choose 4 entries that I thought were slam dunk merits. But you know what? That did not help me grow. Now I can enter all kinds of different things to see what will merit, push myself as an artist. And my favorite part is that in the future here, once we start the merit image review, when you earn your degree, it'll arrive in the mail to all of our U.S. members right away. So you'll be able to tell your friends, family, scream it from the rooftops. No more having to write, I have earned enough merits to receive my degree. You'll be able to say, my degree came in the mail. I've earned my Master of degree, whatever you've earned, and share it with the world for the year. You don't have to wait a year. I love that.
Yeah, I do too. And Jeff, I love something you just said, actually. That idea that, you might not take some risks previously because you didn't want to blow a case. You had a case, you had it 1 year, you got to send it in, once a year, and you didn't necessarily, maybe some people did who already had their masters and they weren't worried, they were pushing the envelope on everything. But a lot of photographers, they didn't want to risk, that case or that merit, in that case. But now, because it's monthly, you can go out and experiment with areas that maybe you've always wanted to experiment with, to try images you've always wanted to try.
I'm excited about it for sure.
Yeah, this whole system is so much more convenient for the members. It is on your schedule. It is not on PPA schedule anymore, or what tradition that we've always had. So it just makes so much more sense to us.
So let's pop this up on the screen there. We have a graphic. This is, if you need more information, you can get that by going to ppa.com/MIR, ppa.com/MIR. That should be up right now if everything is going as planned. We are currently updating the website as we speak, and that should be ready, if not right now, shortly after this announcement wraps up. And so ppa.com/MIR to get more information. Jeff, before, we were focused on merits. We were focused on trophies, and we were focused on pins, is what you just said, and on competition. Now the focus is on personal achievement, which is wonderful, but it doesn't mean we have forgotten competition altogether. I mean, we still know that there are a lot of people who really, really love the idea of competing. And so we have actually put together, I think, quite the competition, but that's not gonna happen just yet, correct?
Yeah, right. Well, and David, forgive me if Rich was going to jump in. It's not even that we haven't forgotten about competition. In fact, we've poured a ton into the idea of competition. Please forgive us if we're not giving you a lot of details right now, because it's still somewhat in development, but beyond that, it would be far too confusing to try to compare apples to oranges here. We know it's confusing with the name change. There will be a new IPC in which it's actually a competition, but it's going to be unrelated to the merit and the strength of the merit that PPA has had in our world, in our photographic community, for years and years and years.
Yeah. And we've had a name. We've had a great name all along, right? Called International Photographic Competition. So as this was all discussed, we thought, well, wait a minute. We have a lot of equity built into a name that we already have. Why don't we keep International Photographic Competition along with the new Merit Image Review? What sneak preview can you tell us about the new IPC, the International Photographic Competition, Rich?
Oh my goodness. This is
Don't say too much.
It's going to be cool. I mean, if we've taken we've taken off um, the side rails on us here and allowed us to create a robust competition. Before IPC was a merit image review, and one of the side things that we did was award images.
Yeah.
Well, that's not really a competition. What we're going to roll out is truly a competition. It is head-to-head, image against image. It is. If you're a competitor, you're going to love this. I mean, this is your image against everybody else. So we'll be rolling some more details out following IUSA on this. But I think everybody's going to love this.
So what we'll say, let's figure this out. It's going to be big.
It's going to be loud.
It's going to be loud. It's going to be really fun. It's going to be really fun.
IUSA
Lots of categories.
Yeah. Lots of categories, and unlike probably anything you've seen.
Yes.
In professional photography. So it's going to be spectacular. Now, please forgive us. Don't beat up on us too much for not telling you the details about it right now. It just makes sense, right? We don't want to introduce two major assets, the Merit Image Review and the new and improved International Photographic Competition. We don't want to introduce those at the same time because it'll just get very, very confusing. So the first submissions for the Merit Image Review, Rich, will take place when? When will they be able to do it?
So you're going to be entering, registration opens December 13th. Those first images will be evaluated the second week of February, and we'll continue to evaluate images on the second week of every month.
Right. So December 13th is the first time you'll be able to submit to the new Merit Image Review. And then we have to go through things like December, which is not good for photographers, and January, which is Imaging USA month and doesn't really work. So the first Merit Image Review will be in February. We're going to get that first Merit Image Review under our belts. And then in February, and you can hold us to it, putting a little pressure on us, we will tell you all the details about the new International Photographic Competition. That'll happen in February. We just don't want to do it at the same time. We're building out technology right now. We're building out everything. It is going to happen, the International Photographic Competition. We just don't want to confuse everything right now. So please be patient and understand why we're doing that. All right, gentlemen, any last thoughts on this?
No, we're just excited that this is such a cool new product for us. So we hope everybody takes advantage of it.
Yeah, and on the board level, the board is so excited. Every member of the board has worked really hard, added feedback, served on action teams to help just make this change awesome for our members.
All right, PPA President Jeff Duchowski, thank you so much. Rich Newell, Director of Credentialing at PPA, new department created here. Thank you so much for being here. This is exciting, as they said. We couldn't be more thrilled. We're going to try our best to be answering everybody's questions. Again, it's ppa.com/MIR, ppa.com/MIR to get more information. And we're going to be right here in the chat trying to answer everybody's questions there as well. So thanks for tuning in. We appreciate all of your patience. Let's go, guys. It's going to be fun. Thanks, everybody.
Great.
Thank you. See you at Imaging USA.